So YouTube, we are in a safe and controlled environment. The gun is empty. These are YouTube compliant magazines. Just got to get that out the way before we get into the video. So the Sig P320, M17, M18, all the 320 models combined, this design of gun. It has had a lot of controversy in the last few years, since it's come out really. As a matter of fact, I would say on this side of the 2A space is probably the most controversial gun of the 21st century, to be honest with you. The AR-15 definitely has this gun beat in terms of political stuff, but on this side of the 2A space, this gun takes the cake by a long shot. So for me, this gun has always been a reliable firearm, which is why I carried it. So just so everyone knows what I have carried it in, this is a We the People holster. It says "Let's Go Brandon" on it. If you know what that means, you know what that means. But again, this is a light bearing holster, TLR1 and Sig M17. That's what this is for. For outside the waistband carry, I have a level 2 Dara holster. This is also light bearing for a TLR1. I've done running and gunning with this. I've taken classes with it. Moving around, jostling around has been fine. This is what I use when I'm out hiking with this gun, or if I'm fishing with it. I'm always using this, you know. So I've been around a lot of different gear and stuff moving around, and this holster's done me just fine. So as far as shootability, I don't like the recoil impulse because the gun is a bit top heavy. As you can see, this gun does have a pretty high bore axis when it sits in your hand. So I do kind of feel that when I'm shooting it as compared to like my other guns, say like my Sig P320. But again, this gun's still reliable. There are things I don't like about this particular configuration, such as like how bulky the back sights are. It kind of covers up your sight picture. Earlier in the video, when I said that these guns were very controversial when they first came out, they had an issue. So you see a lot of people doing a mallet test where they'll take a hammer, they'll hit it on the back, or they'll put this thing on the table and try to like get the slide to go to a certain point and put pressure down and get the thing to go off by itself. It's been a lot of different tests people do. I've actually done the test of like hitting it on the back, tapping it with something, and this one has not gone off on me. But the issue was that when they first came out, this actual trigger shoe here was too heavy. So if it would hit at a certain angle, it would have enough inertia to then go back and let the striker go. So that is an issue. Sig did fix it. This one is one of the fixed versions. I actually waited on buying this gun a while because I wanted to make sure I got one that was fixed. So this one was the one, and you can punch your serial number in. It'll tell you on Sig's website if it is one of the ones that needs to be fixed or if it's, you know, not. But this one is fixed. This one has been fine for me in that aspect. I think the design of this firearm is very cool. Basically just because you can take out the FCU, the fire control unit, you can put it into another frame. You can put it into a flux rater. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's pretty cool. But there's a lot you can do with this firearm in terms of how they made it so modular. And it's great. Again, not my favorite platform just due to the physics of it and, you know, the high bore axis. But it is a very versatile platform that you can make in almost anything you like. I just wanted to get something like this. I just wanted something FDE. I didn't want to spend a ton of money on something like a Legion. My friend actually had a Legion. I shot it. It shoots really nice. His actually went off on him at the range. It was sitting on the table and it went off on him just sitting there. He's also a very reputable person, so it's not something I would just be regurgitating if it was not somebody I didn't know or trust. But he trains hard. I actually did a video with him a while back. I took his class and he was the one that experienced that, and he was a very diehard Sig P320 guy up until that point.
You know what happened to me when I had my, that's why I gave him my Sig. I didn't tell you what happened?
No.
I put it on the table, the gun went off.
Deadass?
I was talking to fucking Kevin. I don't know if you remember Kevin.
Yeah.
He joined the police force. I'm there talking to Kevin, the gun just went BOM!
So let's get to the point of, should you carry this gun? I'm gonna say, me personally, I don't carry this anymore. I've never carried it much. If I carried it, it was always outdoors, outside the waistband. There were a few times, like say I was taking half or most of my guns to the range. This is what I would conceal carry when I'm at the range. I'd conceal carry this on occasion just because, but this is not something I'm picking up to carry. One is big. I do typically carry compact or full-size guns, but this gun's kind of big. The way I have it set up with the light's a little heavy. It's a nut crusher, especially also when you have the 21 round mag. It gets a little heavy, right? So I've never had an issue carrying this firearm. You know, stuff started happening. You gotta think about it. Me, and I know most people that I know, carry appendix. Obviously speaking, it's a bad spot to have a firearm pointed. That is, I 100% understand that, right? But I don't want to have to chance that, especially now that we're talking about a firearm can possibly go off by itself. I've seen numerous videos. I've seen various videos of people saying, oh, you know, something got in the holster, it's user error. There are situations where I have seen questionable videos, and I'm not accusing anybody, be it Sig or, you know, the people, but You got to think about it. If I have this thing pointed at my nuts and my leg where I have massive arteries running through, I don't want this going off anywhere near that. I don't, because I do want to have kids, and I also do want to live. You know, that's the easy way to bleed out. Get shot in an artery, you're done in less than 3 minutes. So that's not something I want to experience, and I'm not saying this gun would. My problem is that this thing would work up until the point that it works too well inside to go off. If it does, I'm not saying that it will, but that, as of right now, is not something I feel comfortable carrying on me. Whenever they dive into this thing and actually figure out if there is something going on, and the consensus comes out. I know the FBI was doing a study for one department. I also know that the military is going to go over that due to the airman that just passed away and got shot by his gun. But if this was my only gun, would I carry this? Yes, I would carry it. What I would probably do, which is I don't really advise it, because seconds matter. Seconds really do matter. I would probably carry this on an empty chamber just to be on the safe side. Again, the safety does not, you know, do anything aside from stop the trigger mechanism. But I would carry this without a round in the chamber. And again, nothing against the people who do that. I know people are also paranoid about other firearms and they don't trust themselves. But a lot of times when I meet people who don't trust themselves enough to carry one in the chamber, I don't typically trust you with a firearm, because you just simply haven't manipulated one long enough to carry comfortably with one in the chamber. So you don't trust yourself. So I don't really trust you around me with them. That's not everybody, because I have seen people who are trained individuals carry without a round in the chamber. Maybe like 1 or 2 people, but for the most part, everyone I know who's like trained enough and comfortable enough with firearms carries one in the chamber. So that's my thing. But I'd make an exception for this. If this was my only gun and I didn't want to sell it, I would probably carry it without a round in the chamber now for this. Now, if it was my only gun, would I sell it? I wouldn't, because again, I wanted something FDE. I like this gun. I got it for a birthday. It's sentimental to me. But if I was a person who didn't hold sentimental value to things like that, I probably would sell it and get something different. I have Glock, CZ, Walther. I have other guns that I like a lot more than this thing. So it wouldn't be hard for me to pick up another platform. I was never a huge P320 guy, but I just ran it because it worked, and it was my only full-size 9mm at the time when I first got this. I honestly think as of right now, until we get some solid concrete data and figure out what isn't going on, I would refrain from carrying one, just because from my understanding, granted we haven't seen all the evidence, but I do know that the airman put his gun on the table and it, I think, shot him in the chest. So that is concerning. There have been instances where people have just bent over and things have gone off. And to Sig USA, I don't kind of like how you guys have gaslighted some of the customers. I feel like that's wrong. If I know I possibly had something to do with an issue or a problem, I want to exploit all the possible outcomes before I just blame it on the user. I don't think that's a great way to run a business or customer service. I do understand why, because this is a very detrimental thing to happen to a company in terms of, you know, reputation. So I understand where they're coming from, but I think you would retain customers a lot more and people holding on to their firearms if you just kind of treated people a little different. But that being said, the Sig P320, I like the gun. I do like the gun. I have done a review on this gun. At that point, I think I had about maybe 700-800 rounds to it. If you guys want, I'll go put it on the screen so you can check it out. This is a very solid gun. I wouldn't say I don't trust it in terms of functioning. I just don't, as of right now, trust it to have it pointed at myself or anybody else around me. I wouldn't carry this gun loaded, which means I just wouldn't carry it. To me, it's no point if I have a gun that's unloaded, it's no point in me carrying it, because at that point, say my arm goes down and I can't rack around the chamber, it's just a heavy paperweight. So I try to have all my stuff ready to go if necessary. So I would kind of think twice before carrying this right now. My advice to anyone who has this as their only and primary firearm, if you can, I'd just grab a second for now. If you can afford it, get a second gun. Doesn't have to be anything expensive. Just grab a second gun, carry that for the time being. Let this get sorted out, see what's going on, see, you know, once people investigate to see if it's something with a certain serial number, a certain batch, or a certain style, or just see what the outcome is first before you risk yourself by carrying this. Not saying that it is a risk, but there is some risk there. As we've seen, there have been multiple instances. I can't blame every single one of them on user error. It's not just civilians, it's been military, law enforcement. And again, there are a lot of military and law enforcement that I know who don't handle firearms well and can't shoot very well at all. Honestly speaking, with the civilians I run into at the range that actually train, not just the ones who go and just blow off lead. When I go to the range with civilians who I know that train, they tend to train more than most of my military or law enforcement friends, or even, you know, I have a lot of law enforcement in my family. So yeah, I've seen some questionable gun handling by law enforcement and military, but I can't sit here and say I don't think all of these instances are from that. Again, we've seen, you know, people bending over and the gun going off. So could it be a holster? It could be a holster. I don't know. I haven't experienced anything with the holsters that I have here, you know. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys will still trust this gun. If you have one, would you carry it? Are you selling it? I know a lot of people have sold theirs already. You can actually find them in a lot of gun stores on consignment right now, or like online for a lot of deals, because people are selling them. So if you're in the market for one, this is the perfect time to get one. But would you guys trust this gun? Would you carry this? Would you have this around your family or friends, or point it at yourself in appendix, or even if you carry 3 o'clock position? Because regardless of wherever you carry your firearm at, it's kind of still going to be in the vicinity of your body, so you don't want that going off if it's tucked in or outside of your pants. So regardless of where it's pointed, this is still not, you know, a thing that you want to go off while it's around. So let me know what you guys think. I think there are many other platforms around that don't really have issues. So again, if you don't trust the gun, sell it or put it on ice, grab another one, do what you got to do. You can still get okay money for this, so I think, you know, right now would be a good time to sell if that's what you want to do. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned in for the next video. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't, at Ferg Tactical. And yeah, catch you on the next one.